All right, well, welcome to the first official Sourcing 7 webinar with our good friend and incredible thinker in the sourcing and TA community, Jonathan Kidder. I'm super excited for what he has to present today in terms of AI recruiting. I'm Todd Davis. I am the board chair of the Sourcing 7, and Adam is the executive director and the mastermind behind all of the goodness that is Sourcing 7 that you see coming to you in various forums. So without any further ado, I will kick it over to Adam. Did you have a few things that you wanted to say before we
Yeah.
roll out?
Yeah, thank you. And hello, everyone, and welcome to the, let's call it, first live webinar of the relaunched Sourcing 7. Also, big thank you to Jonathan over here, also known as the
Thank you.
Wizard
Thank you.
Sorcerer, for coming and showing all the tools for us and all the AI goodies. A few housekeeping type of things. We will have time for questions at the end, so all please use the chat functionality on the side and pop in all your questions. This is also recorded, so we will send over the recording of the session to everyone who is registered and attended, and we'll share it on our socials. Lastly, I just wanted to say a couple of notes about the Sourcing 7. The Sourcing 7 is a nonprofit organization based out of Seattle. We are bringing this from Seattle with love to all of you. But we are not just serving the Seattle community, we are serving everyone in the talent acquisition community who identifies with our profession, regardless if you name yourself a sourcer, a recruiter, a talent partner, HR professional, L&D onboarding. If it's related to talent acquisition, believe me, if we work together, we can learn from each other. So that is the community that we serve, and our purpose is to uplift that community. But in order to do so, we need to hear your voice as community members. We need you to tell us what is the best thing that we can do for you to help you. So we created a community survey that you can quickly fill out. We'll call that out again at the end of the session, and I'll pop the link to that survey into the chat when we finish. But yeah, thank you very much to everyone for being here, to giving us their time and being open to learning. And thank you to Jonathan as well for sharing
Thank you,
his
Adam.
knowledge. So thank you.
I appreciate that. Thanks so much for the introduction, too. And first, can you all see my screen? I've done it so many times where I'm presenting and I'm going off on trails and people can't see my screen at all. Can I get a yes maybe in the comment section here? We got some yeses. Okay, good. All right. Fantastic. All right. AI in recruiting. So today we will cover 12 plugin extension tools to help support talent sourcing efforts. And presented by me, Jonathan Kidder. Let's go. Let's get excited here, y'all. Um, First, how's everyone feeling today? In the chat bar, give me your emoji of how you're feeling. I know it's Tuesday night for me. I'm on Central Time, but give me emoji. How are you guys feeling in the chats? Keep them coming here. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. We got some smiles. Okay. Good. 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 Feeling good. I'm excited to present to you all today. Again, this week it's Turkey Week. So again, I'm thankful for Sourcing 7. It's a great organization, and definitely make sure to kind of subscribe and take their survey after this presentation too as well. So agenda. We'll talk about me, and I'll kind of quickly go over that. We'll talk about introduction to generative AI, and then we'll demo some tools, and we'll really answer the question of why. Why use these tools within sourcing? What's the use case? What's the benefits? And then are they free or are they paid? But we'll go over many different types of tools, and then we'll conclude maybe for the last 10 to 15 minutes. We'll leave some room for Q&A. But throughout my presentation, if you guys have questions, please drop them in the comments section. I will be loading that as we go along too. So, and again, check out my website, wizardsorcerer.com too. So I've got my wand here. Let's go. Let's get excited. So about me, I am a senior recruiter At Amazon. I've been at Amazon for about 5 years now, too. So it's been a great experience. I'm part of Amazon Last Mile Delivery. And for me, I have about 12 years of recruiting and sourcing experience. And through kind of the 12 years, it's been a lot of change within our industry. So much has changed. Now we have AI, and there's so many other advancements. It's just been a wild journey for me as well. And then my blog, again, take a look at my blog, wizardsourcer.com. And then on top of that, I've written 12 books about talent sourcing. So during COVID, I was very busy. It became kind of a hobby for me, and I've enjoyed the ride too as well. Today, I'm going to be really focusing on my book, AI Talent Sourcing. So I'll go over tools, but then I'll kind of highlight some of my favorite prompts that I use every day within ChatGPT 4 too. So on top of that, go to my website, wizardsourcer.com. I have a ton of free resources too as well. So see that bubble in the right corner, go to my resource tab. And once you click on that, I always update it with different things. So trending recruiting tools, free as well as paid, recruiter templates, so just different generic examples to Boolean search strings too. So, definitely check it out too. So if you could check it out, that would be great. Thank you all as well. So I will put that in the comments section here. So y'all can bookmark that, save that. It's a great resource. That's my plug for today as well. But yeah, my kind of first question for you all is, will AI replace sourcers? So in the chat bar, give me kind of a yes or no on how are you guys kind of feeling. No, no, no. Okay, good. All right, good. All right, lots of no's. I'm loving this crowd, great audience here. So yeah, I agree with that. I think it cannot replicate the human touch and intuition too. So there's so many things that we do within the internal process of recruiting, within talent sourcing that uh, AI can never fully replace too. So we are relationship-based individuals, and we're really focused on that too. So yeah. So how should sourcers respond to AI? That's kind of the next question I have for you all. So right now we have this kind of picture that my coworker Mark Campbell sent to me. Right now we're at this phase of just understanding AI, kind of understanding the benefits, the use cases. Some people are using it, some people are not. But for me, I feel like we're just right here on this star where we're just kind of slowly starting to kind of understand the benefits of AI. And some teams are completely ignoring it. And I don't recommend that because you will kind of fall down the cliff versus other teams. Your competition will be utilizing these AI tools further and further into the future too. So that's why it's really important for sources just to fully understand the benefits of AI and how they can kind of use that within their day-to-day duties. Because once you learn it, you will have the power, baby. Yeah, as well. So yeah. So anyone using generative AI so far? Maybe give me a yes or no in the comments sections here. Um, I'm sure a lot of people are using it. Yes, yes, yes. I'm loving the comments here, you guys. Great crowd, great crowd. Good, good, good. So that's good to hear. So in my book, I really tackle that. So what is generative AI? It's generative artificial intelligence is a type of artificial intelligence capable of generating text, images, videos, or other media prompts. And kind of the top ones that people are using now are ChatGPT, Google Bard, Claude, and then now Elon Musk has released his own ChatGPT competitor, XAI. So definitely recommend demoing that one. My favorite is kind of a tie. I think Claude and ChatGPT are kind of my top two that I recommend. But yeah, I'd say start out by just kind of experimenting with one and then just kind of going from there too as well. So here's another question for you. This picture of me, this is my LinkedIn photo. Is this a real photo or not? So in the chat bar, let me know. Nope, it's not. Yes, this is being recorded too as well. It is not, but look at that photo. Man, I look good, right? I used Midjourney and I created a prompt and I was like, put me in the background of a jungle. and because I wanted a new LinkedIn photo, and boom, this is what it created. And my wife was like, "This looks nothing like you." As well. So, but it's just mind blowing what we can do within kind of the deep face space area where videos, text, media, anything you can kind of create a prompt and you can have AI generate images, videos. It's going to be insane just to kind of picture that within the future too as well. So here's some general prompt tips too. So really, when you are kind of playing around with a generative AI tool like ChatGPT is kind of one that I recommend. Start out simple, be direct, tell it to create or write the prompt. Secondly, follow up on the format. Tell it to rewrite the prompt, reorganize, or summarize too, because it will give you something, but then you kind of go back and kind of tell it, okay, rewrite this, reorganize this, or summarize it in this way. That's just a basic kind of tip too as well. And then, of course, refine your prompt. So ask it to remove, add, suggest, kind of go from there too. So, and then of course, if you are trying to fact check data, most is pre 2021 data. So it's not up to date or current too. So if you are looking for sources, just note that too as well. And then, of course, save your prompt history within folders. I will talk about kind of a free extension tool where you're able to kind of save your prompts within a folder section too as well. And then, of course, don't share any confidential company information too. So never upload any confidential information. This includes financial data, proprietary technology documents, sales projections, project plans, or anything related to employee or candidate contact information too as well. So do not, because it's going to go out there and it's going to be out there forever too. So try to remain confidential with that. Don't share it out as well. And then finally, just keep experimenting, play around with it. Um, I've just been able to kind of grow as I'm sure all of you have too at the same time, because the prompts that I first started out with maybe 4 or 5 months ago, they've changed dramatically now too. So it's just interesting to kind of have that and experience that when using kind of GA tools too. So there's three fundamental prompts too. So open-ended prompts, prompt completion, so kind of creating a task, and then questioning and answering prompts. So that's kind of the fundamentals of kind of prompt engineering. So there's three main prompts that it's kind of broken down to. So it's good to just recognize that too. Um, yeah, very, very solid. So ChatGPT 4 is one that I recommend kind of playing around with. They have a free version, but they do have a paid version. It's $20 a month, and it's kind of a token system. So I think you max out at around 25 messages if you are not paying for the pro version. So that's why I recommend using kind of the pro ChatGPT version of the tool. But yeah, they've got an internal plugin kind of store too, and they're always updating different prompts and plugins too. So a couple that I recommend are Resume Copilot. That's a great one if you want to like optimize a job description or resume. It goes into detail on refining skill sets, requirements, summarizing different things. To Prompt Perfect is a great example of a plugin that's useful, or Web Scraper too. So you're able to kind of scrape profiles, LinkedIn profiles online for free too. So kind of a useful plugin. But yeah, I recommend going to the plugin store. They're always updating these too as well. So I checked 2, 3 months back, and yeah, like a week, 2 weeks later, there was so many new ones. So it's always being updated too. So I recommend kind of playing around with it. If you search for like recruiting, you're not going to get much, but if you search for like marketing, automation, outreach, sales, you might get kind of things similar to kind of recruiting too within the plugin store. So I recommend that. Another plugin that I recommend is called OfferZen too. So it's a free plugin, and what it does is it gives you insider insights on the tech job market too. So if you want to have questions about tech careers or salaries, or just any sort of intel information about job searching, recruiting within the tech arena, I recommend playing around with this plugin too. So it's pretty useful too in that sense. Um, where to find more AI plugins? There's a ton of different forums online, but my favorite one is whatplugin.ai, and it's very useful too as well. Let me get a drink of water here. It's great. It's kind of broken down by a couple different areas too. So automation, integration, marketing, SEO, job search. They're always updating kind of this internal forum too. So if you want to learn more about all the latest plugins, extensions for ChatGPT 4, I recommend this site too as well. So make sure to subscribe. They have a kind of email newsletter that they send out, I think every other week too. So highly useful, highly recommend it. Let's go. So saving prompts in folders. This is a free extension too. So what it does is as you're kind of generating prompts, it's easy to kind of lose track of the history of what you're doing every day. But this little folder section pops up on the left side of your prompt history, and it allows you to save your prompts too as you go along too. So it's very useful. It's called ChatGPT Chat Organizer Folders. And here's some examples. So I do a lot with like talent mapping, diversity sourcing, outreach templates, talent sourcing, Boolean, you name it. And you're able to save right here. You can see kind of the prompt, that plus symbol will kind of pop up, and then you're able to add it to that individual folder too. So very useful. It's a free extension. Highly recommend it. It saved me so many hours too, because I've done prompts, and then I shut my computer for the day, and I come back the next day, I'm like, where did it go? You kind of lose that too. So it's a very useful kind of free extension tool. I'm sure there's other ones, but this one's free and it works, and it's really easy to understand too as well. So definitely recommend that one. So, for prompt ideas and talent sourcing within my book, I cover all of these areas too. So, and I will kind of share the link to my book here. So it's a great book. It covers all these different areas and how to kind of create different prompts, how to ask ChatGPT the right sort of prompt questions too. So, but yeah, it's very useful. Definitely recommend the book, as well, if you want to kind of explore those individual categories too as well. But here's some generic kind of prompt sourcing ideas. So here's one: generate a list of relevant keywords based on this job description. You could paste in a job description. It's going to give you the keywords. It's going to give you Boolean search strings. Highly, highly useful. Or generate a Boolean search string based on these required skill sets or job titles too. Suggest alternative job titles or roles to consider for this type of niche too. So you're just kind of giving prompts based on job titles, job descriptions, summaries of your requirements too as well. Or another one is good for just optimizing your job description. Rewrite your JD and include the JD too as well. So you can have it summarize it, you could shrink it down, you could optimize it for SEO too, or rewrite the job descriptions based on your competitors' lists too as well. So if you have competitors, you like the way they format their job descriptions, you can kind of take that and use that to your advantage too. Or create a list of interviewing questions to screen for any type of niche. I've done this myself too for software engineers with iOS mobile experience. Can you create a list of screening questions for me to kind of ask people? And right within seconds, it's like, here's 10 in-depth questions, and here's some probing questions too as well. So fantastic. Or hey, create a SWOT analysis of my job description based on my competitors too. So it's going to tell you, okay, like, here's your SWOT, here's kind of your strengths, here's your weaknesses, and here's what you need to kind of focus on to kind of make improvements on your JD too. So just incredible too. So we'll kind of talk over some tools now, and this one is highly useful. It's maxime.me, and it's an all-in-one tool. It is a paid tool, but what it does is you can search generative tools all in one place. So it's powered by ChatGPT, Claude, Bard, Bing, OpenAI, and you can do one search with it all in one place. So you're going to understand once you start kind of doing prompts, you're going to realize that each one's going to give you a different response back to. My experience, I would say Claude is probably the top one, but it's good to kind of see kind of the differences too. So you could pose the same prompt and just see how Bard responds back to you, or you can see how ChatGPT responds back to as well. So it's a paid tool, but and you need to sync up all your different ones for it to kind of load correctly. But overall, the use case it's amazing because instead of just going to one, ChatGPT 4, you can go to all of them all in one place, and it's just more condensed and more simplified too. So overall, it is quite excellent, excellent, as I say too. So yeah, extremely useful. Definitely recommend it. I'm going to put that because Max to me, I'm going to put that in the links below so you guys can reference that too as well. So definitely take a look at that one, Maximi. So kind of the next one, it's called Recruiter GPT. So it's an extension. And what it does is it is a paid extension too, but it pops up on the right side and you can create kind of a prompt and you could have it find profiles and then you could stack rank the applicants based on skills, experience, team information, character traits. And then on top of that, once you've kind of found people, you've ranked them based on your criteria, based on a job description or prompt, then you could use this tool to send out an automated, personalized outreach message to as well. So it's kind of like combining like AI plus kind of a sourcing external tool plus an outreach tool. So it's like three tools all in one. It's pretty phenomenal too. So I've played around with it. It's very new too. So I think it just got released about 2 to 3 months back. So it's kind of a newer tool, but definitely put this one on for one to kind of demo in the future too. So it's very useful. I will try to kind of share the link to their website, but from what I'm seeing, what I've been playing around with, it's been very useful too. So I will share that link with you all here so you can kind of save that. Okay, Pablo, thank you so much. Fantastic. So yeah, useful. So take a look at that one. Again, it's a premium tool, so eventually you are going to have to pay for it, but they allow you to use it and demo it for a few weeks. I've used it and I haven't had to pay for it yet, so very useful. MetaView is another one. So think of MetaView like Zoom plus AI plus recording notes plus CRM. So it's everything combined. So basically, you would share a link with someone, you would go on a Zoom call, and as you're interviewing them, this AI tool will give you interviewing questions too. So it gives you probing questions live as you interview the person too. So it's just phenomenal what this tool can kind of do. But yeah, it helps create technical phone screen interview questions. It creates follow-up probing questions with the help of AI. It records your video interviews and it helps organize your notes. You can also use it for HM intakes or interview debriefs or whatever else you want to use it for. But it's quite revolutionary, if you ask me to as well. So I will share that one with you all in the chat here. Highly useful. uh, yeah, just it's pretty interesting what they're doing with AI combining video interviewing too. So yeah, another one that I recommend is Notion, and think of it like a task management content kind of creation AI tool, and it can do a lot of different things too, and it is cheaper compared to Grammarly or ChatGPT Plus or even Jasper too. It does a lot of different things too. So for recruiting, it will help you take notes. So it helps organize interview notes. It helps organize your interview screens all in one area. Task management, it helps you keep focused on individual tasks too, which is ideal. And then on top of that, personal and professional development. So you can create weekly and monthly sourcing goals too. So it can kind of analyze with the help of AI. Okay, here's the amount of people you talked to and screened, and then it can kind of make sense of that and help create kind of future goals with that too. So very, very interesting too. This one is you.com. So, but it's called You AI, and what it is think of it like Google plus AI too. So it's like a search engine too. So they also have an extension that you can kind of download for free too. So free, and yeah, it's AI on search engine steroids too, basically. So basically, you can go in within a search, and here's an example that I did: search for LinkedIn, search LinkedIn for software engineers based in Austin, Texas, with this experience to within seconds it was able to create a list of candidate profiles to kind of review and look at, and you don't need to do any x-raying or boolean search strings. It just kind of gives you that information up front, and then on the bottom it gives you kind of like a prompt like, hey, do you want to update this, or do you want to add additional things with this search? You could say, oh, actually search for someone with 5 years of experience, and then within seconds it's going to be able to kind of give you that more in-depth kind of information too. So it's free to use, free to kind of play around with. Definitely recommend that one as well. And let me share with you all that AI search engine, you.com too. So very, very useful. Great, 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 great. So Harpa AI. So think of it like an extension tool, and what it does is once you download it and you sync it up with ChatGPT 4, you can go to anyone's profile. So any page online, but I went to my own LinkedIn profile here, and it captures all that information. And so I'm like, capture this information here. I highlighted my about section of my LinkedIn profile. And then from there, I'm like, draft and write an outreach message to this profile. And then within seconds, it created a personalized message based on what my summary was on my LinkedIn. Again, you could do this on any website. You could do it on GitHub, Stack Overflow, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you want to do this. It can kind of capture anything on any page online, and you can just kind of tell it to create a prompt, create an outreach message, and then within seconds, it can create kind of a personalized message. You can kind of go back and of course it tells you like, are you done with this example? You can select done, or you could say, hey, simplify it or expand it or shorten this outreach message or make it sound more friendly or funny or scary. You can kind of have fun with it too. So it's just another layer of what we're able to do with AI is personalize more outreach messages better too. So it's a fantastic tool. It's very fun to play around with too. Definitely recommend that one. And let me share you all with that here. Shazam, bam, jamma jamma here. So save that one, bookmark then that one, and create the extension too as well. So um, good. So on top of that, Discord, they have their own community on Discord where it goes even more advanced too. So I recommend going to Discord and looking kind of through their help guides too, because it does get a little bit more advanced as you go along too. But Discord is a great useful forum if you want to learn more about different tools too. Um, as well. So Merlin AI is also paid, and it's exactly similar to Harpa. It's a little easier to kind of use, I would say. It just pops up like an extension here, and right away it just says, "Hey, I went to my LinkedIn profile. It said, hey, do you want to summarize this profile or do you want to chat with this profile?" So within seconds, I'm like, okay, let's chat and let's create an outreach message to this particular profile. And within seconds, I'm like, create an outreach message to Jonathan. And then boom, it scraped everything on my profile and it created a personalized message within seconds too. So it's phenomenal. It's great to use. It's not as many features as Harpa too, but I would say it's just as good. It's a little cheaper than Harpa, but same benefits here too as well. On top of that, you're able to kind of go to your social media. So on Facebook, I noticed, and on LinkedIn as well, Merlin pops up here underneath your post status, and it says, "Hey, do you want to make an announcement? You want to share news?" you can kind of click one of those and create a prompt and create a content message within seconds too for social media too. So it's kind of nice they kind of have that functionality within social media too. So yeah, it's useful. So here's an example. I did one for an SDE iOS engineer. I'm part of Amazon too, so there's my plug. But I was like, hey, create a personalized message. I was using Merlin to make it funny, and so I had him create kind of this funny message using Merlin AI. And here's kind of the response. I'm currently not in the market for iOS roles, but I must say this is the most awesome message I've ever received from a recruiter online. Is that awesome? So just awesome, right? Just to get that feedback right away, and it's fully personalized. It's funny. It's direct. It's just 3 paragraphs, and I would say my response rates are growing and going sky high now. So, which is just amazing too. So there's other ones. A lot of people live and die by this one, Text Expander. They also have AI integration. It's similar to kind of Merlin and Harpa, same kind of features too. So same kind of thing. So you can kind of automate different messages. The nice thing about this one, it works on any screen. So it works within Outlook, within your Gmail, on your desktop too, because they have a desktop capability here. So it's just really nice. And then you can sync it up with different additional tools. You can autofill in contact information, or let's say you have automated messages saved, it can autofill in all that information too. And then with the help of AI, it can analyze and send responses back to your messages automatically too as well. So fantastic. It's great. A little bit more expensive than the other two, but just more features too when you think about it as well. So excellent. Let me take a little break here. My throat is very dry. Okay, let's get going here. Let's keep going. Prospect Intel is another one. And what it does is it's in beta now, but basically what you can do with this tools, you can go and copy your URL to any sort of LinkedIn profile, and it's going to summarize their personality within seconds with the help of AI. So it's going to tell you, okay, here's what to say to this person, here's what not to say. Too, it's a free tool, but like for me, I put in my own LinkedIn profile and said things not to say. How was your weekend? Unless it's relevant to the conversation. To just try to be very direct and confident with your wording too. Sounds like I just want direct stuff based on what it analyzed on my posts and on my summary sections of my LinkedIn too. So it's kind of a unique tool. There's other ones that can do it, like Texio, and there's other ones that can analyze, AI and your personality. But this one's just a free one. It's fun. You can play around with it. You can just see, okay, how should I respond to this type of LinkedIn individual too. So yeah, it's great, and it's quite useful. People GPT is kind of a newer one. It's very advanced too, but it's powered by Juicebox. And what it is you can create your own prompt. Here's an example. So, software engineers in California with 4 years of experience at these companies, within seconds, it was able to pull and find external profiles, around 250 profiles within seconds. And from that, you're able to create an email sequence campaign to all 250 people. And again, it's going to summarize everything. It's going to personalize every single message to that individual person too. And if they respond back, it goes in a different queue in your inbox, but it's just phenomenal too. So this tool could potentially kind of automate your outreach sourcing function too if you wanted it to. So again, it is quite expensive, but highly useful. And they're still in beta, but definitely keep an eye on this one. This one seems pretty amazing in my opinion too. So yeah, another one pretty similar to People GPT. Find them, same kind of thing. You can kind of do a search, and then you can analyze a profile with the help of AI, and then you can kind of stack rank your leads too based on the requirements of what you're looking for. And then of course, then you can send out an automated personalized message too. So similar to People GPT, but I think just less features too. But definitely recommend that one as well. Holly Hires, very similar too. So this one's more like a AI powered virtual recruiting assistant too. So you can log in and you can create kind of a prompt, and it can rank candidates, and then same kind of thing. You can give it feedback, and then from there it can send out personalized messages to those individual profiles. So there's a lot of companies like, oh my gosh, we can all do the same thing. In a sense, we can rank profiles, and we can have automated messages. So it'll be interesting to see kind of which tool rises, up from the ashes in a few years. What's going to be the top one? I know for us, the last 2 3 years, it's always been hire ease or seek out, but now with the integration of AI and these types of tools, it's going to be interesting to kind of see kind of the future of these types of tools and kind of where they go with it. But yeah, take a look at that one, Holly Hires. It is a paid tool as well. Cargo is kind of useful. This one is if you like to do mail merging too. So let's say you do a mail merge, you send out a mass message to people, maybe 20 to 30 people. You could either do it through Microsoft Excel and Word, or you could do it through Google Sheets. So this is a free version through Google Sheets. So once you download Cargo, you would add all the information on the candidates that you have to, so their email, first and last name, and then once you download Cargo and integrate it within Google Sheets, it will auto populate all their candidate information too. So it'll find everything about them on their LinkedIn and kind of summarize that in different tabs too. And then from there, you're able to kind of generate a prompt mail merge email too. So it's kind of useful. Again, it's free. There's many other outreach tools, but this one's pretty useful if you are kind of old school, if you want to kind of mail merge and you're good in that area, and you kind of want to stick with that too. So it has its drawbacks too. So deliverability, since you are kind of doing it Google Sheets, your Gmail, you'll have to double check on how many emails are actually getting delivered to, and kind of your spam count too. So just good to kind of recommend that too. Okay, let me take another break. I need some more water here. Okay, perfect. Great stuff here. AI powered email assistant. Oh, it's getting late over here, guys. So Gmail, Outlook, it's another extension. It's free to use, and it just pops up within your Gmail. And it's just like an AI tool. It asks you, hey, do you want to generate a response to this email? Or do you want to write, improve a draft? Or do you want to ask ChatGPT a direct question too as well? And kind of within this area, you're able to kind of generate email responses within seconds too. So it's useful. It's free. You would have to integrate it within ChatGPT, but if you have access and you have a Gmail account, this one's pretty ideal for that. So definitely recommend that too. So Dork GPT. So if you're into like OSNet, like cybersecurity too, this one's kind of an interesting one too. So you could go to dorkgpt.com, and you could tell it to kind of do different X-ray searches or site searches. So here's an example I did: search for software engineers on LinkedIn in Minneapolis, and it gave you kind of that example too. So there's so many different ones you can kind of use it for. It's more for kind of like cybersecurity, I would say, and kind of searching for that. But if you are want to learn more about like X-raying and searching for profiles online, it's a great free search engine tool that I would recommend too. So let me put that one in the chat too as well. Let me do that. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, Jared, terrible at replying to emails. Do you have that link for that one? I will pull that up in a second. But yes, I can do that too. So yeah, very useful. Play around with it. Let me know if you have any questions too. But it's good for X-ray searching as well too. So um, again, I briefly covered this one in the other section at the beginning of my presentation, but there's a scraper plugin. So you could go into ChatGPT and say, hey, can you run this site search example? And within seconds, it could kind of pull up their emails and their LinkedIn URLs too. So it's useful, it's quick. Again, it's not like amazing. I mean, if you want to really go into scraping, there's so many other ones that I would recommend, like Data Miner, web data scraper too as well. But it's useful if you want to kind of play around with this one too. Um, yeah. So from this example, I pulled up this list. I scraped these profiles, and it gave me kind of a list of people, and I was able to kind of find their emails. And then from there, I did a mail merge to and onward. So it's useful. It's simple, but it worked too. So it's useful in that sense. LinkedIn, if you're aware, they're starting to kind of experiment with AI too. So it's still in beta, but some of you do have access to this. If you go to LinkedIn Recruiter, you have this little function here. So if you go to profile, it says draft with AI, and then within seconds, you can tell it to create a LinkedIn Recruiter message too. So not as detailed, not as personalized as all the other ones I shared. So Harpa, Merlin, Text Expander, those three, not as detailed or personalized or funny. But if you are just like, hey, I just want to do something really quick here. I want to send out a message, and I've got the same bland vanilla messages I've been using within LinkedIn Recruiter, and I'm not getting good responses. They now have kind of an AI function within their internal tool. So yeah, useful. Definitely take a look at that too. All right, rescue time. I love this one. And what it does is it just helps you focus every day. So in sourcing, you can go down so many different rabbit holes, right? Where you're just, I'm going to go on this tab, or I'm going to search on this history, or I'm going to go in this area, and then your day just kind of goes up in smokes too. So I love this tool. It is a paid tool, but it just tracks everything you're doing every day, and then it tells you, okay, here's what you were doing during the last 8 hours. Here's what you accomplished, and then from there it helps you kind of create different goals too. So like today, maybe focus on this opportunity or focus on this meeting, and it syncs up with your Outlook or Gmail calendar too as well. So it's useful. I do have access to it, and I just use it to kind of stay organized too. I don't want to there's just so many things in your day, and you can go on so many different directions, and so it's a useful tool. They've also integrated AI now too within their tools, so you can create different prompts, and it just kind of analyzes your time, and it tracks everything, and then it just helps you remain focused too. So it's like, hey, here's your goal for the next 2 hours, focus on this, and that helps too. I know many recruiters like me have ADD, where you're jumping around in many areas. So definitely recommend that one too. So yeah, so tools list, my website, wizardsourcer.com. Go under my source tab. I am always updating this. So every week I try to update it. So I focus on many different areas. So Boolean generators, content finding extensions, email tools, AI automation, scraping tools. I am always updating this tab. So if you want to learn about the latest tools, I recommend just going to this tab, bookmarking it, and taking a look at it in the future too. So, yeah, one final tool, WenX. I love WenX. It is a paid tool, but what it does is you can go on someone's profile and you can put little notes on their profile too. So it's super simple, but like, hey, follow up with this person in 2 weeks. You can kind of put that note. And on top of that, if you are doing a search, it shares kind of the history. When's the last time you looked at their profile, or and then you can add different things like, hey, I was talking to this person, I'm going to reject them, or hey, save this information, or contact this person in the future too. So it's just a way to kind of bookmark your history and your searches. And it's useful. They have a free version, and then they have a paid version too. I believe I just use the free version too, but very useful, very basic. It's not AI focused, but I always like to talk about 1X in my training sessions too. So really, it's basic. You can just kind of put in different notes and just kind of go from there too. So, oh my gosh, we went over so many tools, and I'm sure I just blew your mind, y'all. Do y'all have questions as well? And Adam, do you mind maybe jumping on and maybe you could kind of facilitate all the questions I was going off and tangents, and hopefully you guys learned something from me.
It was really
Thank you.
amazing for sure, and I'm sure people were writing stuff down, but they can go to your website to get the tools, and then we'll probably share something out afterwards. But now's the time to ask any questions that you may have of Jonathan, and we'll get those answered for you. So I didn't know I know I
There's
should
so
have been paying
many.
attention. Did we have any queued throughout there?
Yeah.
Okay, I know I saw a few going through there. I was like, um,
I have the
Okay.
running queue. I have the running queue of the questions.
good.
To answer some of the generic questions, yes, this is recorded. Yes, we will send over the recordings. Yes, we will have the list of all the URLs that Jonathan shared with you all in an email to everyone. And apologies also the slides and all that on like how to contact us and Jonathan and etc etc etc. Getting into the questions, the first one, it's regarding one of the tools you've shown, the recruiter GPT. The question was from Tammy. When you say it stack ranks candidate applications, does it work with your ATS or from
It's
the
only
candidates that
external
it
too.
finds?
I know there are internal tools that are doing that now too. I hesitate to kind of share those because there's many laws that are coming depending on your location. So I know in New York, they have a law now you can't go into your ATS and stack rank, profiles or anything like that with their new policies. So for this one, it's external too. So you would upload like a job description or you would tell it within a prompt, okay, I'm looking for software engineers with this years of experience, and then it would find you people, and then based on what you're telling it, it would rank them like, okay, here's kind of your rank, and then you could tell it yes or no. And it's similar to Hirees, but on top of that, from there you can kind of send out automated messages too. And Todd or Adam, if you guys have access to that tool, please jump in too. But that's kind of what I've learned from that tool too as well.
Yeah, thank you. And I think that will be sort of like the future that everyone. I'm really happy that you called it
Yeah.
out. Everyone needs to be on their toes a little bit and aware that privacy and compliance will be a very very big question mark, and what AI tools can you use and all that. Like always check in
Yep.
with your employer, check in with your own policies before you upload anything into a third party tool. But I think that is sort of common sense, or at least it should be, and it's true for any other tool, not just the AI tools, right? Like don't share anything that is not publicly available and all those things. But thank you for clarifying. Next question over here, and I think this is coming from David regarding Claude. What are the common use cases you have for Claude versus ChatGPT, and when do you use one
That's
versus
such
the
a good
other?
question, and you guys could jump in too as well. But I would say Claude is just, from my experience, it's just more human toned. I don't know. It seems more personalized. It seems more direct with what I'm trying to say. I think it just can analyze it better. In some ways, I feel like ChatGPT has been robotic for me. So you can just tell it's been written by ChatGPT, the way it's kind of the wording is phrased, and I don't know, it just seems better, more personalized, more human toned. But that's just my opinion. I don't know, Todd or Adam, have you guys played around with Claude at all?
I have, and I think it's interesting because you're right. Like some of the tools are starting to have kind of their own tone to it and how they're doing, and we automatically default to ChatGPT. But there's some great tools that are out there. And there is it true? Is there a rumor that there's going to be a holiday version of Claude called Santa
I'm unaware.
Claude? Okay, sorry, that was the only dad joke I've got. Sorry.
Piggybacking on that a little bit, I've seen the similar thing as well, that by default, a lot of times Claude is having the tone that I would prefer. But at the same time, what I've seen in ChatGPT is that you can go in and fine tune with prompts, like what sort of tone, what sort of output do you want to have. And I found that ChatGPT was, at least for me, slightly better at following templates. So when I say like give me an output following this template, it will stick to that and give that to me over and over and over again. On the other side, one big thing with Claude is it has a token window. Basically, it's running ongoing memory, and it's way higher than what ChatGPT has. Like right now, they just announced, I think today, that Claude now has a context window of 200,000 tokens, which is books and books and books that you can just upload into a conversation and have like chat with the book or with the let's say a wiki page or a knowledge center or anything like that. But my advice with this is check all of them and see which one is the best for your specific use
Well
case.
said.
Another question, and unfortunately I don't remember who asked this, but it was just a question regarding the tool Clay. Do you use Clay?
Uh,
Yes or no?
I've used like Zapper, IFTT, Airtable. Clay is a newer one. I did a demo on my website, but um, I'm just a fan of Zapper. I don't. What about you guys?
Does the job.
Yeah.
I also did a demo for it, but what I really liked about it that it is a plug and
Mm.
play. Like there isn't a high steep learning curve. What I did not like about it that it is crazy expensive, at least compared to the workarounds that you can have with cheaper or free tools. Um, Todd, anything to add to that?
So, I'm sitting here probably overthinking things, but with me, it's all about the sourcing or the whatever we call now research methodology, and like building those search criteria on the front end on what I'm actually trying to execute on. So, trying to think about what tools or whatever fits into that matrix really depends on what I'm doing on the front end. So I don't know if that makes sense or not, but like that's what it's probably why I'm not teaching live anymore. I always like to teach on sourcing organization and methodology, which is not nearly as exciting as AI tools. But I would say make sure that whatever tools you're using or whatever it is it fits into whatever you're trying to accomplish. I always start with, kind of the pillars of the companies, the products that align to the search, and then the people that align to those products from those companies, and then figure out what tools I need to use to get to that. So probably doesn't answer the question, but that's where my head goes is more of the organization and methodology aspect of things.
Kind of like a follow-up question to all of this. A lot of tools were mentioned. You said that like if a tool name came up, Jonathan, you were saying like, oh yeah, I tested this and that and that and that and that and that. This is a question from me and also a question from the audience. Actually, two people, Marvin and April, also asked it. How do you have time for this? And a related question to that, also coming in from Memo, is that not just like the time aspect of it, like how do you use all these tools, but assuming that you don't have infinite amount of time in your workday, what is your go-to? Like how do you find tools and time for these tools, and what is your go-to if you are like starting from
Great
scratch?
questions. Yeah.
Like top three, let's say top three tools that you always use as a
Great
go-to.
question. I would say there's so many different online communities. There's so many Facebook groups. There's this group, Sourcing7, where you get to learn all these tools. Or Reddit, there's many subreddits, or Discord is my go-to. There's so many different communities too, or AppSumo is another one that I recommend. There's so many different places where to kind of find. I would say start out by just demoing. So pick, like Todd was saying, pick the category that you want to focus on. If it's productivity or organization or outreach, do research and figure out, okay, like what are the top tools that do outreach, and then choose maybe two or three, do a demo, and then based on your budget and based on what you're seeing by using that tool for a week or so, then go for that tool. And if it doesn't work, then drop it and move on. So I think for us as sourcers, we're the shiny toy syndrome, right? We're like, ooh, for me, I'm like a kid. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. You take it and you're like, oh my gosh, I did nothing with this. It didn't help me at all. It made me more distracted, and so it's just kind of recognizing that. And for me, it's just become a hobby. So I do it like after hours most of the time. I'm like, what about this tool, or just researching on my own. But I would say just analyze the tools, beta test them, and then toss them if they're not useful. Too.
Awesome, thank you. A question from Jared, and apologies, Jared, if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. What would be your recommendation for help with generating slides for a
There's a
deck?
few too. I haven't played around with them myself, so I've just kind of stuck with the areas that I focused on. But I don't have one that I use on my own too, unfortunately. How about you guys? Do you guys use any AI? I know there's a few that do it where it can kind of create a presentation, but I don't know.
Surprisingly,
Okay.
Microsoft Office, Microsoft
Okay.
Office PowerPoint has this, at least in the 365 version that I'm using, has this design helper functionality in there where you just pop in the main talking points, the draft of your presentation, and it creates some design around it. And I also demoed and played around with a tool called Tommy.
Okay.
I'll put it into the chat. That's one that I played around with it, and I had like decent results out of it. Todd, anything on the presentation side?
Yeah, so at ServiceNow within the executive recruiting space, one of the first things I did, I've been there over 2 years now, was to move from walking in with a spreadsheet to doing presentations at the executive level. We use Microsoft, but I tell you, I was an early adopter. Absolutely love
Mm,
Beautiful AI. If you have time to work with that, it's a great presentation tool, and I absolutely love it, and been a fan of it for a long time.
cool.
So, and I
Awesome.
may cheat and take some stuff from there and put it into PowerPoint. I'm just saying. So,
Getting to the end of the questions over here. It's coming from Melissa. Which tool wrote the funny outreach? Was it Merlin or Harpa?
It was Harpa. That's the funny one where it personalizes it more.
It
It
was Harpa.
tells you like, okay, do you want to update this and do you want to make it funny or more serious or scary? I mean, they've really done a funny thing and fun with that tool too. So definitely recommend that one.
Okay. Getting to the end over here. One is about workflows. Is there any, and let me just try to translate that. So, do you have a combination of good, better, best tools in a workflow that you use in a combination, like tool that you use for sourcing, and after that you maybe pop the results into an outreach or any other tool? Like, do you have any combined tools into one workflow use cases for any of the tools that you shown?
Yeah, Zapier is one that I combine different tools. I'm able to kind of use that. It's a little bit cheaper than like Clay and others too. I'm sure there's other ones too. I know Todd's probably Airtable is one that he recommends, I think. But yeah, it integrates everything. It just depends on kind of your areas. So for me, I'm like, okay, here's my favorite outreach tool that I use. Here's my favorite, productivity tool. Here's my favorite sourcing external tool. So I would say just breaking down your categories of what you want it to do, and then choosing your favorite tool, and then just kind of go through your process. So for me, it's like, okay, I'm sourcing, I'm finding leads, I'm either doing a mail merge or I'm sending them a follow-up message through an outreach, and then I'm just kind of scheduling, automatically scheduling my phone screens and just kind of going through the process. So there's so many different phases within recruiting. So it's just figuring out, okay, which tool is the best fit for this one, and then just kind of creating your flow. But yeah, I would be interested to hear what you guys do within that space too as well.
yeah. I'm a workflow nerd in terms of like trying to figure out like that's the thing. Like, I'll be honest, like all the tools, presentations, I love them because I call it the junk food
Yeah.
of TA. Sorry, but it's great and you can absorb it. But like for instance, if I'm working at the level I'm working out, which is executive, which is usually VP and above, it used to be like, okay, so there are a couple of things you can do. You could X-ray LinkedIn and then pull out the information. You could go to SAP or to Salesforce and get the executives off the page. But now using either chat gpt or maybe a tool like gpt was it gpt go, which used to be go GPT, but it's a search engine. You can put in who are the top executives at Microsoft, or who are all the SVPs at Salesforce, and then you can go in and it'll pull that list up. Then you reverse engineer back and take those, highlight those names, reverse engineer it out, and start building out those profiles of the people. Because Moving into what we do now is more of the profiling of people, similar to OSINT, like building those case files. And so we case file or profile those people. But AI, and thanks to you and others that are promoting this, is a great way that can really change how sourcing and research and TA kind of thinks about how they go about starting their search and how they start pulling that data in. So um, yeah, could talk all day about workflows, methodologies, all those things for sure.
One thing to note about workflows is that there is no such thing as out of the box solution that fits all. Like always, when you are thinking about workflows and tools to use, work backwards from your specific situation, from your specific problem, and build a workflow with the tools that work for you. Because a lot of times, when you know what works for Jonathan, you're still with Amazon recruiting as these, right? Like software engineers. What works for recruiting big tech software engineers might not be the best solution to hire, for example, nurse practitioners. There are very good solutions for that one as well, and the other way around. So always work backwards from your own specific needs. We are a little bit over time, but if people want to hang around, I think there is one interesting question left in the chat that I definitely want Jonathan for you to address. Is do you include these tools and what these tools found with your hiring managers, or you keep all this to yourself? Like, are you selectively sharing, like this is for the HM stuff, this is what the hiring managers work with, or you include all these tools in, let's say, in sourcing sessions with them?
That is such a good question. I really don't. I keep it very broad.
And it's coming
Yeah,
from
no,
Tim.
Tim, thank you
Thank you,
so
Tim,
much
for
for the
the
question.
question.
I keep it very broad. I'm like, here's a LinkedIn project, or here's kind of profiles, and you could, with their ATS, we can just share the profiles with them. And I keep it very straightforward. I don't go into the depth of sharing, okay, here's all the tools that I use to rank these people or find these people. But that's such a good question. Should we do that? I would kind of throw it back at you guys. Should we showcase what we're doing, or is that just a waste of time, or I don't know.
No, no. I mean, it depends on the level in your audience, is knowing who your hiring leaders are. But as a whole, I'd say no. I mean, it gets back to the old sausage
Yeah.
making thing. Like people want to eat sausage, they want to know how sausage is made. And so and it's also kind of the time. Like working with senior executives, it's kind of like, yeah, that's great.
Mm,
Don't really care. I'm happy for you. What are the
yeah.
results? So that's what we're always faced with. And even it gets down to like my direct leaders in TA. It's kind of like, uh-huh, okay, yeah, it's great. So what did you produce? I'm like, okay, so that's all they really care about at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
Look, I'm on the other side. I would say share if it's relevant. Share. Going back to the, I want to eat sausage, so I want to know how the sausage is made. If you only want to eat sausage, like, it doesn't really matter. But if you want someone to actually help, and do you want that person who is participating in the sourcing sessions with you to have the same powers that you have, and you want to raise their abilities to perform in that sourcing session and find candidates, then give them the tools. Of course, give them in a way that they get educated on how to use it, and how to use it safely, and create a workflow or framework where things don't overlap, as you should do that in sourcing sessions anytime. But I'm on the other side. I'm saying, like, if I need someone's help in a sourcing session to generate candidates, I want to give them all the tools possible for them to perform at their best. But again, your mileage might vary. So depends on the specific use case and on the specific situation.
I've yet to see an SVP at either Salesforce or ServiceNow want to to do that. But if you're working with like TA, or if you're working with a sourcing partner or something like that, of course, share your knowledge, right? Executive recruiters and those sorts of things. But I would love it if I could do a sourcing session like that with a senior executive. I just haven't seen it happen. at any point in time.
I've seen a lot of
But it could happen.
I've seen a lot of engineers, engineering managers, engineering directors be actually really good sourcers.
Yeah.
So some of
Well,
them,
they should be because Boolean's math, and then
yeah,
your mind is pretty much operating in a capacity of an engineer when you're doing this, or if you're building, your prompts or how you're doing this. So you should be. Yeah, I think we could delve into this and talk about it for hours, but definitely like with engineering or those, it could be more of an open or willingness to do that. It just depends on the people you're working with, but yeah, I
yeah,
think yeah, it just depends on the audience. Just know who you're working with, partnering with, and presenting to. So
yeah. We are coming to an end. We arrived to the end. We are 5 minutes over. So thank you everyone who is still hanging over here with us. Jonathan, can I ask you for a second to stop screen sharing so I can share a QR code with
Oh,
the
got it.
audience? And thank you very much. I did not want to steal that from you. So, again, thank you very much for Jonathan for coming and sharing all his knowledge. Thank you to everyone who joined this call and for coming to learn with us. As we were saying, we will be sending a follow-up email with all the details. Our request to you is tell us what else do you want to see from us. More sessions like this? Do you want to see Jonathan come back? Do you want to see more AI tools? Do you want to have shorter, longer sessions, more conversational sessions? You tell us. We are a nonprofit and our purpose is to serve you all, but for that we need to hear your voice. So in order to do that, we created this little survey. It's not that little, it takes around 10 minutes to complete, but please, if you have some time to do that, scan the QR code on the screen, or I put it into the chat again. Visit that bit.ly link. It's bit.ly/S7-survey. It's a very, very easy link. But again, thank you very, 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 very much. And yeah, see you all in the next one. Thank you.